order our Dillon School District 4 Board of Trustees meeting this June 15, 2015. Recognition of visitors. Betsy, we always welcome you. Roll call. Bert Rogers.
Here.
Mike McCray.
Here.
Earl Gleason.
Present.
Kenneth Bethay. And Alex Lewis.
Here.
Shows Kenneth Bethay out. Now we have approval of our minutes and review of the minutes of the May meeting. Are there any corrections? If no, we need a motion to accept as read. Mike makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any opposes to this? Accepted as read. All right, new business?
On a construction update, as you can see, we're now in the new district office facility. There's still, as you saw and heard with the construction manager, that there's work still going on. We got things in the auditorium. They haven't turned that over to us yet, so we're still waiting on them to finish that. But they have given us the letter of occupancy for the offices, so we are in there now. There's some small things that's going to need to be done, but we're very proud of it. Beautiful facility, and everybody that comes in seems to be very pleased with it. Down in Lakeview, same thing. They're still finishing up on some of the items that they had, but pretty much most of it should be finished up within the next week or two. The cafeteria is real nice when you get a chance to get down there and you see something going on in there, go down there and take a look. The kids they have really enjoyed the last few weeks they were in there. The high school looks great. We've got all kind of things done down there, and the new addition for the 6th, 7th, and 8th looks great. Renovation to the cafeteria at the high school looks real good. The roofs are taken care of, and they're really happy with what they have. You heard anything, Earl, from down there? Anything?
It's all
negative?
good. All good.
That's
I
all.
heard. I toured all these 2 months ago, and everything was done.
One thing I meant to ask Thurman when he was here, we're still trying to get some stadium work done for handicap accessibility. We're trying to find some stuff to add down there, but to my knowledge they haven't as of yet. I guess we're down to budget report.
Okay. The budget report we have is through May 31st, 2015. And through that period of time, we spent $20,839,745, 86.4% of our budget. I'll make the correction to the fund balance as of 5/31. We're missing a comma, we got an extra zero. That should be a balance for all the funds of $5,504,796.15. The second sheet, due from state, March 31st is only Europe, it's $29,589.40. Any questions on expenditures?
Do we know when we'll get that from the state?
Europe, they're always 3 or 4 months late to come in. For some reason, you never get it on time.
I got a question, and this is to make a relative point that I try to get across to everybody. That $5.5 million is not in your bank account, correct? The difference between that $5.5 million and what is actually in your bank account, the difference is what I call accounts receivables, or monies owed to you by the federal and state government, correct?
That's correct.
And your local money is accrued into that account annually, or you do it monthly.
Oh, that's
Monthly. If you had to pay a $5 million bill, my point is you couldn't pay it. I have a large problem with getting that over to people. They look at that figure and say, oh, Rob, we got all this money. Well, you don't. You do in actuality, yes. If every bill or invoice from the federal and state government were paid today, you would have that much money. But you don't. You're carrying about 3.6, 3.5.
Probably so. It's hard to tell with the GFA because we moved the
Right,
pay
it
period up to the
fluctuates.
19th, so we're running about 4 or 5 days behind on that.
Correct. So that figure does not relate to actual ability to pay bills. Now, like he made a good point there, in 3 or 4 months, those accounts receivables will come in, hopefully, prayerfully. Sometimes it has lingered even longer than that. 1 month, I remember, we had to loan you money to pay your payroll, but you still showed over $5 million in your fund balance. But the state owed you, God, $3 million or something.
2 years ago, you would have seen that when pay rose on the 25th. That would not have been the case.
Yeah.
In other words, the programs for the year, we have to fund before the money ever gets here. We have to front the money to operate before the money gets here. That's why you want a fund balance. That's why you don't want to run your school district in the red, waiting on the money to come.
And that money ain't ever gonna catch up with that fund balance now unless you go out and get it. You're always gonna be in
reserve
arrears.
fund?
We
Huh?
do. And we-
That's not listed on here though.
No, we present that once a year. And that's as of June 30th. The general fund balance, which will actually show what was available on June 30th of each fiscal year.
So if you had an emergency or something, you'd take it out of that.
Exactly.
If it was in the bank account, if it was a collected fund balance. I call it collected, uncollected.
And the only part that would not be collected would be the local receivable
Right.
for July and August, which is not over.
I have a lot of trouble explaining that to people that don't deal with this every day.
Any questions? Next, we have our general fund budget for 15-16. And I'd like to go over the general highlights on the second page. We have an overall budget increase of 2.79% from $24,108,720 to $24,780,221. Each employee on a salary schedule with less than 22 years experience will receive an average increase of 2%. We do have a shift of some monies from lottery funds to the general fund. That meaning basically K5,
right.
yes, for about $200,000, which will show that as a transfer, but it won't show the general fund above those transfer lines. Looking at phase 2 cost of $2,220, and Jackie's telling us that may increase. So we have another few days to find out about that. There's an increase in employee share retirement from 15.82% to 16.39%.
That's what this is based on, the 2,200?
That's just the base student cost for each average daily membership for kids in school. And it says it's about $100 more than last year, but it could increase. Looking at page 2 is our revenue statements, the revenue projections. We're looking at $6,002,521 from state sources, and $18,559,972 from state sources, for a total of $24,962,493. This budget is broken up into basically 2 sections. We have instructional costs and support costs. And if you go to page 6, page, we're looking at total instructional costs of $12,364,809. And if we go to page 10, near the bottom of the page, which says total support service, it's $12,415,412. So on the surface, it looks like we're looking at 50-50, but actually we're not. We have more actual direct school expenditures than we have in support. And those are reflected on page 7. Excuse me. If you look at 212, the guidance account, these are actually school-based expenses. And if we go to the last item on that page, 222, ed media, these are also instructional costs. Those people are called instructional personnel, but they're on the support side. So actually, instructional costs could be looked at as much more than what we show here. If we go over to page 10, at the very bottom, looking at total expenditures of $24,780,221. We have our transfers that net out to $182,272, which balances out our budget.
So you have to transfer money into the budget balance? Where?
Transfer in and out. Well, if you look at the very first one, revenue from the EIA fund, these are funds that are recorded as revenue in the EIA fund with expenditures of the general fund. So we have to transfer that money over. We can't go to revenue twice. So we transfer that over to the general fund. Then we have transfers from indirect costs. These are federal programs that they give us a fee, a percentage to operate. And then we have transfers to other funds of $957,000.
What did you find out about the Title I?
Cut was not as much as we thought it was.
About a 1% cut.
About a 1% cut. And Lynn was able to pick up some additional positions also. Because this budget will support 386 full-time equivalency positions, which is 13 above what it was last year. But it's only 2.75% increase. And that's partially because Lynn picked up several positions that were in the general fund. Any questions?
What percentage of any service support?
386.
That show on the page.
No. That's an increase of 13.2 over last year. For current year.
The insurance didn't go up or anything?
Insurance went up slightly, went down last year, and went back up this year.
Retirement went up.
Retirement, it went significantly this year. It goes up every year. You don't find out until June.
What about workers' comp?
Workers' comp went down this year.
Y'all are doing a good job, both districts, on workers' comp. I'm amazed. Because we've gotten reductions probably the last 3 years now.
The last 2 years.
Last two, that's saying something. In this environment we operate in today.
What is the employee part of retirement?
6.5.
School's paying 15, I thought?
16.
16?
When I first came on the school board, the fringe benefits were budgeted at somewhere around 10%. Today it's 22,
23.
23.
16.39 plus 7.65.
That comes out just,
Is that built into the 12 million for, is that part of the support?
Yes, support and instruction. That's for teachers and for support staff.
That's ultimately why a lawsuit was filed in is over fringe benefits. There was no way to keep up with the way they were increasing the percentage that the school was having to pay.
You're talking about 24%, 22% of payroll that runs somewhere in the $2 million a month mark.
Well, actually, it's more than that. The 24% represents retirement and Social Security. The largest part would be health insurance. That could run you, our share could be $6,000, $7,000 for full family coverage.
If you run $2 million a month payroll, that would be $24 million.
Countywide, not just district. Excuse me. I mix up where I'm thinking sometimes.
Any other questions on the 15-16 budget? If there are none, we need a motion.
Make a motion.
Any opposed? Student services.
I gotta stand up, I can't see you, Mr. Rogers. The first thing I want you to do while you're trying to find your local board-approved courses, we are in the process, and you may have heard of running 2 summer school camps. We have our ESOL students, we approximately have 38 attending, and that is for grades 1, 2, and 3. We have hired 3 teachers, and they are doing an excellent job. That'll run the month of June. Then for the month of June and the month of July, we have a summer reading camp that the State Department of Education does fund. And we have hired 5 teachers, and they are serving, we were up to 34 students today. So we also have employed 3 bus drivers to do the different routes because we do send a bus to Lakeview to pick up those students. And so right now we are serving, they're all housed at Gordon Elementary because the majority of them are rising 4th graders that will be attending school there. And Mr. Whitfield and Ms. Berry have been gracious to help oversee the program with me. What you have in front of you is each year, the same time last year, is local board approved courses. With the State Department of Education, there are certain course codes that we have to put in our system for students to take. And if they are not located in that course code manual, we are allowed to have what we call local board approved courses. These courses did not change from last year. They are still the same ones that we approved last year. The only change is we have added, the third from the bottom, we have added the ACT prep. And that is a prep class that is offered at both high schools to prepare them when they took, and actually they did take the ACT this spring. So that is the only change as far as last year when I presented this in June. And I will need a motion from the board to accept these local board approved courses.
Can I ask a question? The ACT, everybody's gonna take it now?
Well, where we are with assessments is everything may change. They are in the process, the State Department is in the process of getting feedback. ACT is the company, and we had 3 different assessments from ACT. We had ACT, the actual ACT, we had ACT Work Keys, and then we had ACT Aspire, which took the place of PASS. Well, the State Department is in the process of sending out proposals to once again receive bids. That bid for those companies only lasted 1 year. We may see a change in assessments. I'm not going to tell you that, that we're not. They are also in the process. We administered M-Circle to 4K in kindergarten this fall, and they are in the process of sending bids out for those assessments too. So right now, everything is up in the air as far as the way we are going to assess our students. One time, Molly Spearman did say that we assess our students way too much, and so we will probably see some changes in that direction. And when we do, I'll let you know. Okay?
So what about the ACT like to take for college?
We'll still keep this course in place because originally, if you remember, most colleges only ever took the SAT.
Right.
And now they are also accepting the ACT, so we will take that in place. And we are also planning on those students that want to take either the SAT or the ACT for college placement, they will be provided that opportunity.
Now, the left side.
Yes. Oh, and I need a motion.
We need a motion on the local board approved courses.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Earl and Mike. Any opposes? So approved.
Good.
If you look in your packet, you will see our personnel recommendations. I'm not going to read all of them to you, but you will see our terminations, recommendations, transfers, retiring at the end of this year, 14-15, resignations, and recommendation for the 15-16 school year. Give you a second to look over that if you have any questions. When we go into executive session, I will be talking about one of the personnel at that time. Any motion?
All right, need a motion on the superintendent's recommendations for personnel for the terminations, recommendations, transfers, retirees, and resignations.
I make the motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Alex, your second. Any opposes? Okay.
Also dealing with policy, also in your packet, you will see our current policy, which is KF-E, and that's page 1 and page 2. And what we need to do is we need to add the auditorium. If you look on page 4, actually, page 3 is an overview. But on page 4, you will see what we have come up with, and any suggestions or any recommendations that you may have, we will definitely use them. But we're saying a fee of $1,500, as well as technician, $25, security staff, $25, and $50 for janitorial staff, and if you would like to use the piano, it's $100 per day. What you will see in the rest of the pages are agreement whenever someone decides that they would like to sign up to use the auditorium. Page 1 through the last 2 pages is that it goes through your no pets, there's no food, no beverage, no pyrotechnics used on stage. No one is to use the catwalk unless we have our auditorium manager there. We went through everything that we could find that other auditoriums have used, school districts, not just local auditoriums. But it's something that I don't want to read through it, but on page 3 of the packet is just a synopsis of what it would probably cost someone if they would use it for 2 days or 3 days. You will see kind of an overall usage. The $1,500 is for the usage. No, it's not per day for the $1,500. The $1,500 is for the usage. The other is just per hour or per day. It's a starting point, and just need you to review. You may not have time today, but I'd love for you to look at this. And I would need board approval at the next meeting, and any suggestions you may have. We will bring this up at that time. The only thing that I would draw your attention to is the insurance on page 5. It's kind of in the back. It has page 5. And we got this from another school district about our size. And it says, leasing will carry at his own expense a policy of general liability insurance in an amount no less than $300,000 bodily injury and $100,000 property damage named in Dillon School District 4 as an additional insured. They use that in most auditoriums, but you may decide that you would not like that. And that's mainly for nonprofits and for other organizations. Aren't you impressed, Mr. Shepherd? Mm-hmm.
Very.
Okay.
They better like that one. They wish they had.
But this is many organizations who would rent it have insurance policies. If it's a church, they have an insurance policy that covers the church. It's just, all it is saying is you're responsible for any damage, and we would hold you responsible as well as bodily harm. If someone jumped off the stage and broke a leg, it's that kind of a thing. But again, our insurance would also cover it too, but we have to kind of stipulate it. But that's the only thing I will draw your attention to, and but please read over this at your convenience, and then I will bring it up at the next board meeting. Well, do we have a July board meeting? No. Okay. We will have the certificate of occupancy hopefully in August, and we will not rent this out until the board has made the recommendations, and that's why I wanted you to see it at the beginning, that I think it's worth the quality of what you have here. If you don't have it high enough, again, you're going to have a lot of people that would use it that's not using the city auditorium.
Holly, is this the 1,500 plus the other fees down here?
That's correct.
Okay.
So it would come about $2,000 to rent it for 3 days, for 2 days, however. And again, this is all based on...
That's just not for one day, that's...
Right, no, it's not for one day. That's right.
Okay, so the
$1,500
15
is
is
for the use of it.
How many days?
Yeah, we'll have to... We put $1,500 per day, but we've got to figure that out. I don't think they're going to pay $1,500 per day to use it if they have to need it for 2 days, one for a rehearsal and one for a production. But you may say yes. You may say, yes, I want $1,500 per day as a board. I'm just giving you options of what to say or what to do. There's some talk about renovating the old J.V. Martin old auditorium, but we have a absolutely wonderful one here. But at the same time, whenever our Lakeview and Dillon uses it for band and for chorus and for everything else that they would use it for, that's the purpose of this, is for the kids and for the usage of it. But again, I got to leave it at you as the board, your discretion of how you would want to interpret it and your ideas, and then we'll come up with a policy that will be implemented in August.
What she's doing is giving you something to look at,
Yes.
to come up with some ideas. But keep in mind, this auditorium's like a gymnasium. They're for the kids. This was built for the students, not for outside public venues. Yeah. We want to make that available, but thing about it is, you're talking about what, $7 million? Give or take a few $100,000. But and if you don't keep it up, if you don't have the right people overseeing it, then you'll have a mess, and it won't take long.
We have an auditorium manager that is, she's an employee of the district. Her name's Donna Lane. But she's being trained on the sound system, the lighting system. She will walk the catwalk and put the lights in and whatever the renter would want. But again, that is mainly for our schools. Our schools use it free. We just have to maintain it and keep it at the top level when they finish as well as when they go in.
And Lakeview's already called me with the names of people they want to be trained so that they can bring their kids over for whatever program they don't have.
Donna
their
would have to
school.
train her.
That's right.
She's been trained already.
So it's something nice for all the schools, and they don't have an auditorium in any of the schools. So we're hoping it'll be used for a lot of things from
Over
all
the years.
From all of them. Because it was built for every
That
kid.
rental fee may look bad, but we rent the convention center a quarter for $1,000. And the reason is the wear and tear on the facility, they never clean it up when you use it. You always have to bring in a cleanup crew. If you clean up that building for $50, I'll see you do it. It'd probably be more like 150.
It will be.
But y'all gonna have a tremendous light bill, I gotta figure, on that facility. And that probably needs to be looked at before you make a decision. And that may sound outrageous, but it ain't when you figure all its.
Are we going to have more discussion on this in August, at the August meeting?
Yeah.
Whatever you decide, you may decide to put it in a lump sum, at $2,000 even or $1,800 even. I just wanted to kind of throw some things
Give you
out.
something to look at so that we can come back together and come up with a fee.
Because we have to have a policy in place for them to start using it.
They use our activity.
Yes, they have to use, Don Lane has to be in the room. Don Lane.
We're also looking at our first day of school for all our personnel to meet in the new auditorium, to show them the auditorium and the office complex here.
That'll be teachers and assistant.
That's right. When we start back in August.
We'll get with you because we'd like to have the board sitting on the stage.
Love to have anybody that
You
can
said
come.
that includes lunchroom people and all that?
No.
I think more than that.
That's all I have.
Sure.
That's just Dillon now, not Lakeview, or Dillon and Lakeview. That no,
386.
3 to 6 foot,
Dillon
just
and
like
Lakeview.
4.
this whole.
Dillon and Lakeview.
All right, we'll need a motion to go into executive session.